The aim of this is to help us understand our menstrual cycle. Okay, so what's the menstrual cycle? The menstrual cycle basically refers to the regular changes that happen in the ovary and in the uterus. That's the inner lining of the womb. Every month. It usually happens cyclically. That's every month in women. And this is to enable women to reproduce, to have children. Okay? What we should understand is that the menstrual cycle usually happens or starts happening in puberty. It continues, only pausing during pregnancy or during menopause. And menopause is that phase in a woman's life where she stops menstruating for at least 1 whole year. That is 12 months. And that's because the function of her ovaries have declined at that stage. I personally thought the first day of your menstrual cycle is the day that you finish seeing the blood. So you start counting from that day. No. But the first day of the menstrual cycle is actually the day that you start seeing the blood. So for instance, Sister Janet starts seeing her menstrual period on the 2nd of July 2025. Okay? That is the first day of her menstrual cycle. That's day 1 of her menstrual cycle. Okay? Most women bleed within a period of 2 to 7 days, and that is normal. Okay? So assuming that Sister Janet bleeds for 4 days every cycle. So it means that from day 1 of her menstrual cycle, which is the 2nd of July, she also bleeds on the 3rd, on the 4th, and on the 5th. So she bleeds for 4 days, right? She finishes menstruating in these 4 days. How would Sister Janet now know when her next cycle is coming or her next period is starting? One menstrual cycle is from the beginning of one cycle to the beginning of another menstrual cycle. That is one cycle. So I said day 1 is the very first day she starts seeing the blood, right? So counting from this day down to the next time she'll be seeing her menstrual period or another menstrual blood, that will be one cycle. So let's assume that Sister Janet has a cycle length of 27 days. 27 is in between 21 and 35 days, of course. So 27 days. Because one thing you should understand is that if you do not have a regular menstrual cycle, it can be difficult to track your menstrual cycle or your period when you're ovulating and the likes. So it's important for you to know your cycle length, to know how regular your cycle is, to help you dictate or predict when your next menstrual cycle is starting. So for instance, Sister Janet has a regular menstrual cycle, and for the month of July, she saw her period on the 2nd of July, and she has noticed that her period comes in between that 21 and 35 days. Okay, and she has seen that the average for her is 27 days. Okay, so if Sister Janet has an average menstrual cycle of 27 days, let's now count to see so that we can predict when her next cycle is starting. So this is the 1, this is the 2, this is the 3, this is the 4, this is the 5, the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Do we see that? So I said one cycle is from the beginning of one cycle to the beginning of another cycle. So since she has a cycle length of 27 days from what she has noticed over time, so Sister Janet should expect to see her period on the 28th. On the 28th of July. I'd also want to clear one doubt. They feel that they have irregular cycles or abnormal cycles just because they see 2 cycles in a month, or they begin to experience 2 cycles in a single month. It is very possible, especially with shorter cycles. Okay, 27 days, as you can see, we counted here, and then it still fell in the month of July. That is because 27 days is what she has noticed for herself, and she started seeing the previous cycle quite earlier in that month of July. So she started seeing it on the 2nd of July 2025, and counting 27 days later, it fell on the 28th, which is still within the month of July. So it is still possible because she has a regular cycle, 27 days, which is in between 21 and 35 days. And starting quite early in the month gives her the possibility of starting another cycle within that same month, because the month of July has 31 days. Okay, if she has started, let's say somewhere in the middle, 18th of July, she definitely will move into the next month, and it would look as if she's having the perfect cycle because it is in another different month. So she would expect to see it around that same time. But remember, if it is quite early within the month and you have a shorter cycle, then anything from 27 days, 28 days, 29 days, 30 days, it will still fall within the month of July. Anything greater than that can move to the next cycle. But just remember that we are looking forward to having our cycles within 21 to 35 days. Okay, I hope that makes sense.